Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is time for another Facebook Live interview. And it may, well, in fact, it is a different time, but it's a special time today. I'm going to be talking with Shilpa Agarwal, if I've pronounced that correctly. I hope I have, Shilpa, and I can confirm that with you when I speak with you. So if you are in the group now, and I hope that you are, oh, yes, I see you there, darling. Lovely. So, yeah, hopefully, yes, bring them on camera. Love it when I see that. I'm just going to do that now. I will be adding you. Just give me a second. And yes, adding, which is really exciting. And look, can't wait to speak with you. And, there she
Ooh,
is.
yay, here I
Hello.
am. Hello,
Hi, how
hello.
are you? How are
I'm
you,
very
Shilpa?
good. I'm
Oh,
very
that's
good, thank you. I'm
great.
just trying to organize the phone.
Yes,
So,
yeah. Get the right, the
ouch.
right angle and the
Yeah,
right
just give me
mic
one
too.
sec.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, while you're doing that, can I just confirm, is it Shilpa is how I pronounce your name?
Yeah, that's perfect. Shilpa,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You've got it now. I
Okay,
can
y'all
see you
can see
there
me
looking.
clearly. Is the lighting great?
Yes,
Looking a bit
yes,
dark, but
looks
that's okay.
wonderful. You are or
Yep.
I am? Are you right there
No,
with it now?
yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I think, I don't know, the lighting on my face is a bit dark, but that's okay. Let's just keep
Oh,
going
right.
with it.
Yeah. Look, there's definitely an art to setting it up for live streaming
Yeah.
online, isn't it? And and I've actually recently moved my office, so I've noticed that the room that I'm in now is actually can be a little bit dark too. So it can be a little bit difficult, but that's okay. We will do the best that we can with it. So welcome. I'm really excited to be talking with you
Yes,
today.
thank you so
You've got
much.
such.
Absolute pleasure.
Uh, Oh, good. Thank you. My pleasure. Yeah, to be interviewing you. And you have such an interesting story. So many things for me to be asking you about. What I will start with, though, is tell us a bit about your business. Now, of course, I'll probably refer to that later, but I do want to talk about your earlier life and that sort of thing as well. But just as a snapshot for us to all get a sense of what your business is about, it'd be great if you could tell us a little bit about it now, please.
Sure. So my business is all about helping coaches, consultants, and practitioners, who are great at their art, but they're just struggling as to how to monetize my art or my skill. Like, it could be a
Mm.
very, very great Reiki artist, not artist, like a Reiki therapist or a massage therapist or a grief coach or,
Mm.
a psychologist. Like they're great at what they do, but they can't monetize their skills because they don't know how to package it into a business that's profitable.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the drive, that's what drives me. So I help
Mm.
coaches and consultants and practitioners just like these to package their
Mm.
wisdom and their education and their story and what makes them so passionate
Ah.
about their work into a book.
Mm.
And through the
Mm.
book, yeah, so there are actually there are a few stages in my business and in my client journey. And
Mm-hmm.
once they've written the book, I actually help them, secure speaking gigs or basically position themselves in the right places so that the right qualified target market is coming to them and they're able to really show them the next steps as to how people can work one-on-one with them. So it's
Oh,
all
that's
about,
wonderful.
yeah, positioning yourself perfectly in the hands, in the minds of the right market.
And of course that's just so important, isn't it? So that the people that we want to and know that we're able to serve best are actually receiving the message, hearing about us, and
Yeah,
then taking up our services as they feel drawn to.
absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
that's
just
great.
love doing that. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So what got you into that? Now, it sounds like you've had, as I mentioned, an incredible journey. So you were born in India. Were you
Yes.
there from memory until you were an adult? Hello, thanks for
Yeah.
joining. Is that
Yeah.
right? Or
Yes, so I was, born and brought up in India, and I've been in Australia for just 4 years now. So I've
oh,
nearly
not long.
spent all my life in India. and then I had an opportunity to travel to Sydney as part of my corporate gig. I used to travel a lot. That was my first window into Australia, and that was my
Ah,
first window into seeing a possibility that yes, I can move to this place, and I can still continue to be who I am. I don't have to disconnect from my roots, from my culture, but I will still be welcome here and respected for my work, and I'll have the opportunities as everyone else.
that's
Um,
wonderful.
yeah, so that's what brought me to Australia. Yeah.
That's great. Swapna's just joined us, so hello, darling. Any
Hey,
questions you've got,
Swapna.
any comments, please let us know. And anyone after who joins us for the rest of the live streaming or after watching the replay, any questions, I'm sure you'll be happy, Shilpa, to answer those.
Yeah, isn't this
Yeah.
better? Like, I hate the darkness on my face right now, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll
You
see
know
how I
what?
can keep going.
You need to be the most comfortable. It looks fine. We can see you. You look beautiful. So as long as you're comfortable, that's the most important thing. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you've
Yeah, this
been
better.
only here. Oh, okay, good. You've only been here for about 4 years,
Yep.
and as you were saying, so you at some point then, if you were in a corporate role in India, you then started your business with your husband, if I'm correct. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So, my husband and I, we both migrated together,
Mm-hmm.
and we started our business pretty much within the first 6 months of landing in Australia.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Yeah, and initially I started out as a generalist coach, which is a great place to start for any new coach because it gives you a playground to test a few things, to see what's your passion really, what are you attracting, what works for you, and what is it that you don't enjoy. So getting clarity on that
Mm,
as well is very important.
true.
And as a result of, and then then a few years down the line when I wrote my own book, believe me, Helen, I thought the day my book launches, I'm gonna have, like, I'm gonna just escalate my business to six figures in no time.
Mm-hmm.
How ignorant was I?
Mm,
But there was a very beautiful lesson because the pain that I went through in facing reality that things don't work like this and just writing a book
mm,
means nothing, that actually helped me find what I'm going to do for maybe the rest of my life. Um,
mm,
and so that's how I landed on deciding that okay, I'm gonna help people. So basically I started getting a lot of interest, as in how did you write a book, how did you write a book? So I was like, okay, I can do this. I can definitely help people elicit their stories and package it beautifully, in perspective, like
mm-hmm.
bringing a good blend of their stories, their personal stories, and their tangible skill experience. But then I saw a clear gap that all these beautifully skilled people did not know how to, monetize their skill.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why, that's how my program evolved to be what it is today, which
Mm-hmm.
is, write a book without writing a word. So that's a bit of the process, but
Yes.
I call it the six-figure authority. So I'm confident that when someone writes a book with me, I'm able to take them to six figures, their coaching business to six figures in 12 months.
That's great. I'll touch on
Yeah,
that shortly. I want to just backtrack
sure.
just slightly. So you wrote a book, was it a couple of years ago?
Yes, that was in 2015 when I was pregnant. Yeah.
Okay. And was
Yeah.
that based on your traveling because you
No, that
traveled via caravan? No?
I did. So my book was,
Ah,
at that time, it was pretty much written for my market at the time because I was a generalist coach then, and it's written for some general, like newbie people who are not exposed to coaching or who might be wanting to have a taste of coaching. That's who
Oh,
it
right.
was written for, because I was writing it for my
Ah,
market, right?
oh, right. So it wasn't about your traveling trip. What was, so
No,
it
so
was
my
a,
travel,
right.
yeah,
Sorry,
my
I had
travel
that wrong.
happened, yeah, my travels happened only in 2017, which was last year.
Ah, okay. Right.
Yes.
So your book was focusing on helping coaches to build their business. Is that right?
No, it wasn't, so that's what. So at the time, I was a generalist coach and I was helping non-coaches. I was just helping people in life coaching,
Ah,
through life coaching. So my
right.
book is a life coaching book. So
Hmm.
it's
And what is
called
it called?
yes, it's called Want Solution, There's Always One. And that is
Ah.
also the name of my business, because when my husband and we launched the business, this was one of our core beliefs that, when someone comes to us and if they really want a solution, they must be willing to find out a way, or they must be willing to fight for it. They must be willing to do the work,
Mm.
and not just sit there, crib, and complain. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
So
that's
taking,
what,
yeah, taking some responsibility or more
absolutely,
responsibility.
taking all
Yeah, yeah.
responsibility. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm, mm. Well, yes, all of their own personal responsibility and more than they've probably taken. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
So you wrote that book, and did you self-publish? Is that what you did
Yes,
in
that's right. I
2015?
sell. Yes,
Okay.
I did.
And
And
and I want
yes.
to, yeah. Sorry, you go on.
Now go for it.
I was interested in just asking a little bit more about what you said, which I think is really important. That I think we're often, there's this. Hello, Kathy. Thanks for joining. This idea that, like you said, if we write a book, that instantly means, hey, everyone's going to know about it. They're going to love
Absolutely.
it, and then they're going to want to work with us. And then before we know it, there's lots and lots of dollars, in our bank accounts.
Absolutely.
But
I
I
wish.
think. Exactly. And am I right in saying that that what you're saying and that you learned for yourself, perhaps, as you said, perhaps a difficult lesson, is that just writing it, it's like that, the movie Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. Just writing the book on its own is not enough. Is that
It's not
that's what
enough.
you found?
Can I just relate it to a very crude example? But it's almost like getting your business card printed, and the business card coming from the printers does not mean a successful business, right? Now you've
Mm,
got a business card, you've got to put it out there, because
yeah,
otherwise, how are people going to know you, right? That's
that's so
what, like,
true.
I hate to say that. Your book is not your business card. It's so much more. It's got your character, your personality, your stories, your vulnerabilities. But
Mm.
to give you perspective, it's a piece of printed stuff, like, and you can't just hope that you're just going to be rich overnight. So
Mm. And
you've
and
got
as you said, that was, yeah, yeah.
no,
You
no,
were
yeah,
saying that was something that you experienced.
yeah.
And what was it then that you were able to do, or I don't know, change, whether that's your thinking or even something practically, to then
Hmm.
be able to have developed the system, if that's what it is that you have, for helping people write their books now? What was the process or the journey that you went through?
Okay, that's a great question. So in the beginning,
Mm, thank you.
I myself thought, so when I realized that something's not working, because I was getting a lot of congratulatory messages and people were downloading my free chapter, and I had a whole list of people join my email list. So all those things were fine, but then I did not know how to convert them into clients. Which
Ah,
is so, so the biggest gap that I was facing was I was still trying to hide behind my book, and
mm,
I didn't want to get on sales conversations with people. And this is one thing I'd like to, like, burst your bubble, and I'm really sorry to do that, but uh, if you don't like to get on, and a sales conversation is, there's some negative connotation to it,
mm,
but I had to learn that unless I'm willing to, yes, my book is elevating my brand, my book is elevating my profile, it's positioning me, it's sharing my story. But then now I've got to start the conversation like, hey, you loved the book, right? What did you love about it? What would you like to change in your life? Can I help you? It's just that's what a sales conversation is all about. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that is exactly what I teach in my program. So I it's a complete business coaching, you know a combo of book writing and business coaching.
Oh,
So I
right,
would
right.
Right. So I would teach my clients how to then hold the space in a sales conversation and without feeling stressed or without feeling any of the negative emotions that they have held in their heart before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this was one myth that had to be busted and one reality which I had to face. The more I delayed facing this fact, the more I delayed growing my business. But finally, there
Mm.
came a time where I was like, the book is my PR, the book is my marketing channel, it's my marketing person in a way. But
Mm-hmm.
there comes a point where the marketing person steps aside and then you have to step in. Can you
Okay,
see that?
okay.
Right?
Yes, yes, the book can't do it all is the message that I'm
Exactly,
getting from
because
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
But the
that's
book does
great.
a lot of
That's
hard work. And actually, I'll share a beautiful model over here. So
mm.
for all those of you who are listening right now, you might want to just write this down because
And I'll just say Asma's joined us, so lovely to see you, gorgeous. Yes,
hey,
sorry,
yeah.
you
So there's a beautiful
continue.
acronym which is called KLTTBRR. Okay?
Oh,
And
I've
it
never heard of it.
stands, yes, so KLTTBRR stands for know, like, trust,
Ah,
try, buy, refer, and repeat. So,
ah,
right? And when someone started working with you, they get to, this is how they have got to working with you because they got to know you, then they followed you, they listened to your stuff, or they read your book, they start to like you, and then they see some more videos from you and they're like, wow, I can really trust this person. And then they get on a strategy call. That's their trial. They're like,
mm-hmm.
let me have a chat. And then, if you really hold the space for them beautifully, then they're kind of, they're like, okay, they buy you and they're working with you. And because they're getting great results out of you, they're going to refer you to someone else. They're going to
Mm.
refer other people to you. And then starts the cycle of know, like, trust. So that's why repeat.
That's great. I've heard of course, the know, like, trust, but I haven't
Yeah,
heard
but
of
it's a
those
complete
other.
cycle. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. It's you're taking it that much further through that whole
yeah,
journey. That's
yeah,
yeah, to the point where we can get clients, or
yeah,
clients take
absolutely.
up our services. That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
yeah. And
Mm,
yeah, so I'll just close this,
yes.
I'll just kind of complete this whole theory. So, your book is already doing a lot of hard work. Your book is taking people from the know level, like from people just knowing you, to almost liking and trusting you. So it's lifting a lot of heavy weight. But there comes a
Mm,
point where, you've got to then take over and get on that trial call with the clients, right?
mm,
And
yep.
or pitch, or like just get in touch with Facebook hosts like you, where
Mm.
you're able to share your message and spread your wisdom and spread your visibility. And yeah, so your book does a lot for you, but then there's a point where you have to take
Yeah.
responsibility.
Look, that's great, and I'm reminded that it's like other in that respect. It's like other marketing methods. That there's such a difference, isn't there, between marketing and sales, and that the book then is the marketing piece, but it's not the sales conversion or the sales part of it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Look, I hadn't probably even thought of it in that way. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, thank you, Shilpa. That's great. And another thing I wanted to ask is, am I right in saying that you help, and you might have mentioned it just in passing briefly, that you help people write their books without them having to write a word.
Yes, I
So
did.
what does that mean? That sounds amazing.
All right. So what it means is, it literally means you're going to be writing your book without writing a word, which means I do a lot of work with you and for you and me and my team. And how that like translates into, so if I could just walk you through the process,
Mm,
is we do a lot of like detailed planning and book blueprinting work. So, in the beginning, we'll spend a lot of one-on-one time getting really clear on your avatar, on who is your book for. Like, what's the end result that you want out of this book? So, if
yeah.
you're writing the book to, like I'll just touch upon one more new concept, and if it's not known to everyone, I'll just describe it briefly.
Hmm.
So, your book is the first step of your ascension model. And for those who don't know the ascension model, an ascension model is just, think of it like three staircases. It's like a
Hmm.
flight of stairs, and it's got three steps. That's the minimum you want, right? And your book is your very low risk entry level trial product for your business.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's like selling something for 29 bucks.
Hmm.
Then you might have $1,000, offering, which is like, yeah, four sessions, four coaching sessions. And then you might have, or you might have something from $1,000 to $3,000, and then you might have,
Hmm.
on the topmost level, you might have your premium offering in the range of $5,000 to $10,000. You might be hosting
Hmm.
a retreat, an experiential retreat.
Mm.
So it's really important to get, really clear on what's the end result, because you're not
Hmm.
selling the book to sell the book. You're selling the book to
Mm.
fill up your retreat. So we
Hmm.
need to be
Hmm.
clear on, so can you see how much thinking goes behind getting clear on the avatar? You're not just writing the
Yes.
book to say, yes, beautiful stories about yourself. Anything that gets told in the book if it adds value to the reader.
Okay.
Or, right? Does it make sense? Like, I'm not, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could
Just sorry.
blabber
Just
about myself.
I was just wanting to clarify that point.
Yeah.
You help people because is it because you want the value added to the book as much as possible, that your comment just then about you only allow someone to include things in their book if it adds value? Or do you mind just explaining that a little bit more?
Right. So, that's, yeah, great question actually. So, of course, the author has all the liberty to choose what they enter in the book, what they write in their book.
Hmm.
But, I will help them see perspective. I'll show them the perspective as to what really is important for your reader, right?
Ah.
What is adding value to your reader? You never, like, when you're out to buy a washing machine, for example, Helen, if you want a front load and the salesman loves a top load, it doesn't matter what he loves, right?
Hmm.
It only matters what adds value to your life.
Yeah.
So if you had a
Okay.
back injury and you cannot bend down and you can't have a front load washing machine, and what's really valuable for your life is to have a top load so I can stand and still load my laundry. But if
Mm.
the salesman says, a front load is really great because blah blah blah, that's that's disservice, right?
Mm. Because not adding value.
Yeah, so the
Mm.
book is gonna add value, is gonna add education, awareness, teach concepts, and share stories about the author, which are
Hmm.
aligned with the marketing message, which are aligned with the author's
Mm.
persona, right?
Hmm.
Because we humans, when we go deep into our story, we get so obsessed about ourselves that sometimes we might just share a story which is not making any relevance to the listener.
Yes.
you
Okay.
know.
So you can really help the person you're coaching with, the book coaching, help them write it so it stays on point, as they say,
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
providing value to the writer, and is relevant, and also in line with the what I'm hearing is around being in line with their branding as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would you
Because
say that? Yeah.
yeah, because if you go off brand, then you're defying the whole purpose of writing the book, right? You might as
Yeah.
well not write a book. So
True.
it's my duty to give you that perspective and that feedback, and help you identify what are some real pieces of gold, if I may
Mm,
say, which
mm,
need to go, which your readers need to read about. They need to read your stories of your humble beginnings. You know, where did you begin? What was your lowest, yeah, what was your rock bottom moment? And how did you spring back from there? What were the
mm-hmm.
strategies that kept you going? So it helps them know that she is someone I can trust. She is as human as me, and I can be
Mm.
vulnerable with her. That's what coaching is all
Ah,
about. So it's important
mm,
that we do share our vulnerabilities in a way that help, not our unresolved vulnerabilities,
mm.
because then it's
Okay.
kind of, then the reader gets confused and they're like, okay, oh my God, she still hasn't found a solution to this, so I have to try and help her. But then the equation, the dynamic is
Mm.
shifting. But you want to share your
Yes.
resolved vulnerabilities, which help people see the human side of you more than the business side of you. And
Yeah. Thank you. That's a
yeah.
really great point. That's a really great point because
Yeah, I had not
if
imagined
our,
it's gonna go so
yeah.
deep. Yeah,
Yeah. Because if our coach or mentor, whatever, has not resolved the issue for themselves, or not enough to
yeah,
really be able to support the
yeah,
client isn't that. What's coming up for me then is there may not be as much trust. You know, we were just talking before about the know, like, and trust. We might still
absolutely,
know them and like them, but we may not be able to trust that they will be able to help us in the way that we want them or
absolutely.
need them to.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that
Yeah,
up.
and
And
in
Bonetta,
saying that, oh, sorry, is there a question?
oh, I was just going to say, Bonetta has joined us. Thank you,
Oh,
Bonetta,
okay, yeah,
lovely, and
yeah,
she's got her thumbs up, so she's really
yeah.
she
Yes,
liked that
welcome.
comment.
Yeah, yes,
And
awesome.
also, Swapna before said, just in regard to the acronym, your KLTTBRR,
Yes,
that
thanks,
was
Swapna, for typing it out.
she's. Exactly, she said she loves it, so you can see that perhaps
Yeah.
yourself. But yeah, that's great. So, can I just
I'd just
ask
like to,
Yeah,
sorry,
you go.
so
No, don't
we
apologize.
deviated from the question, but it's important to also highlight that I'm
Yep.
not asking all authors to be perfect because we are all
Mm,
humans, we're all going to be work in progress, but we just be mindful of sharing what's resolved, right? Because you
mm-hmm,
don't want unresolved drama to go out in the world and create
mm,
you know, an energy of tension, right?
yeah,
So because then you're not even an authority in, uh, in helping solve
mm,
that issue, that which you
yeah.
haven't solved for yourself.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm. And
yeah,
that's also part of that leadership, the idea of leadership. I think, for me anyway, that it's wrapped up in that. To be leading others, we need to
absolutely,
have gone through the process, to a certain point ourselves. So,
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
terms of the vulnerability and also the connection that, I think as well, and I was
absolutely,
talking about
yeah,
before about trust. Yeah. I just wanted to
yeah.
ask a little bit about, so of course, a focus of this
I
week, well, two
haven't,
things.
yeah. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, is around productivity and then also the creative spiritual aspects. So, are there things that you are particularly in terms of productivity? Like it sounds like that's a lot that you do, and I know you have a little girl as well. Have you
Yeah.
just got even one little tip? What's something that you do that helps you be productive?
Uh, yes. So a few things that are popping up, especially keeping my little girl in mind.
Mm,
There was a time where she was hanging around with me all day at home, and I wasn't able to do much work with her around. But, that was me staying with some of my limiting beliefs about having to send her to daycare. But now, when she goes to daycare, I can see, like, I'm getting a lot of happy photos from her carers and stories of her leadership, of her caring
mm,
for other kids and making friends, having fun. So that was one of my best decisions, to send her to daycare, where she's getting to meet people of her age, and we are
mm,
getting some, like adult thinking time to, make stuff happen
mm,
in the business. That was
mm,
my one tip. And um, my
that's great.
husband and I, we recently just drew a boundary where we decided, because we are both in business, it's so hard to switch off. And even when I'm cooking,
Mm.
we're doing business. Even, like, in the bedroom, we are talking business. So we've actually recently decided that once our girl comes home, we are not talking business. And
Ah, I like
you
that.
know, so
Yeah.
from so from 10 to 6 we are on, but then we're off.
Yep.
So
I get you. That's
it's
great.
it's just our commitment. We promised each other to have self-control,
Yep.
and it's what can I say? It's our endeavor to grow into better human beings. So I think that
Ah,
has
that's
been the
beautiful.
key. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. And Carol's just joined us as well. Hello, darling.
Hey,
So
beautiful
it's
people.
around, yeah. So having some protected time for you to be doing your work while your little girl's at the daycare, knowing you don't have to feel guilty about it because there's benefits for her in doing that. And I think that
Absolutely,
we don't want the guilt, because we're not going to work so well if we have that guilt, are we? That
absolutely.
energy
Yeah,
then
yeah,
isn't right. And then also about so important to switch off. Swapna's saying I switch off too once my daughter is home. Yeah, that's lovely. And then,
yeah,
as you said, the
yeah,
boundary with your husband, if you're in business together, not to talk about it 24/7. Sorry, I couldn't make it earlier.
yeah.
That's fine, darling. Thank you now. And we are about to finish. We're sort of running out of time. But I wanted to, of course, ask how can everyone make contact with you? Is there something that you're able to offer us as viewers at the moment? Shilpa, what can we
Yeah,
learn from
yeah.
you and potentially work with you, perhaps?
Right, beautiful. So there's two things in my mind right now. Of course, I have created a special offer for members of this group, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I
Mm-hmm.
realized that we kind of deviated when you asked how can people write a book without writing a word, and it's
Mm-hmm.
important I just clarify that bit for
Sure.
the listeners here. So, just to keep it very short, I basically
Mm.
interview all my authors. So
Right.
once we've done, a very, very detailed, very precise book outline, like chapter by chapter, subject by subject, and subtopic by subtopic, that's when I come in with, very actively in prodding them and bringing out their stories. So we do a
Mm-hmm.
whole heap of recorded interviews, and then that's
Mm.
transcribed and provided to them. So your first manuscript gets, like, your first draft manuscript gets given to you, is like, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
And
that's
that's
great.
where, yeah, so that's where the process of editing starts. So the
Mm-hmm.
first experience of your book, you're almost just directly reading your book. You're sharing your story
Yep.
passionately and teaching me your stuff over the over a recorded Zoom or phone.
Right.
But then you start reading your manuscript and you're like, oh, that was too much detail, I don't need it. Okay, I can, oh, but that's not very clear. I can just elaborate it. So you just add some words, delete some words, and that's when our professional editor comes into the picture. Yeah.
So
That was
you're
about the,
providing. No, that's great. So by
yeah,
interviewing them, you're providing them with almost their first draft, and then they can work on
absolutely.
it from there. Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So
clarifying that, because
yeah,
that's really
it's
good.
pretty much a one-stop shop. Like people come with scattered ideas and leave with a completely finished book. So
Yeah.
we've got designers on board, a professional publisher, distributors, everything. So your book
Excellent.
gets launched, and and then the moment the book is out, you've got our business coaching. So we're
Oh,
actually
as
helping
well.
you, right? So
Yep.
we're actually
Yep.
helping
That's
you
great.
monetize the book, not just leaving you with an illusionary dream, right? Like,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, yes, yes. From, as you said, going back to your own experiences. So what
yeah,
is it?
yeah,
How can we work with you? What is
yeah,
something
yeah,
you said you
beautiful.
had an offer
So,
for? Yeah.
if you have loved what you heard so far, you've kind of got a taste of this. But what I wanted to offer to each one of you is 60 minutes with me where we can actually bounce off ideas about your book and your business, and we can create a structure, we can create a blueprint, and I call it the book business blueprint. And that's a 60-minute session that is valued at 497 Aussie dollars. But I will provide the link in the group, and I will also
That'd be
provide a
great.
special coupon. Yeah, I'll provide a special coupon code uh, for members of this group. I think I've already created that, but I will verify and post it. But it's going to be called
Okay.
Helen's Gift without an
Oh,
apostrophe.
thank
It's just
you.
going to be Helen's
Beautiful.
Gift. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's your group and you're bringing
Yeah.
this to them. So with
Oh,
your
thank you.
compliments. Yeah,
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So you will put a comment in the link in the comments below the video
I will do that.
afterwards.
Yes, I will
Oh,
do that
that's
straight away.
wonderful. Thank you. That's great. I really appreciate that. That sounds really a really great offer. So Swapna's just said that I was talking about with you interviewing people at for their start of their book.
Yep,
It's
yep.
so cool. It's so difficult to start off with a blank page. Having something to build upon is much simpler. So agree, Swapna. That's
Yeah, yeah. Thanks,
really good. And often,
Swapna.
yeah, and also quite often we can talk about, what's in our book. We can talk our book rather than actually write it, especially to begin with. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it
And
just flows more when we talk, doesn't it?
yeah, and there are many ways to talk your book out. A lot of people are able to speak in solitude, but not everyone, and it
Right.
makes it so much easier. Like if Helen, you would interview
Oh,
me,
okay.
Shilpa, tell me every step about your process. I promise I can write a book and bring it out tomorrow. But me
I
talking
see.
to a microphone in solitude is just so boring and not exciting at all. While, yeah, we can all talk about ourselves
Yeah.
for endless hours. So
Yeah, yeah, it's a different approach. I'm sure different approaches.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
lots of things, isn't it? It's what we resonate with, and
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
that's a great. It seems to me like a great way that you have been able to support people when writing their books, which is
Absolutely. Thank you so
wonderful. So
much. Yes.
thank you. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. We better leave it there.
Thank you for having
But
me.
thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks so much for sharing about a little bit about yourself and your journey, and then of course how you support people in business to be able to write their book, and especially about the way that you do that, and then that message about the book on its own won't do really very much at all. It
Absolutely.
has to
Yeah.
be that whole marketing, and the fact that you provide that
Yeah.
marketing and sales support is wonderful.
Hmm.
So thank you so much, Swapna. Anybody watching, any more questions or comments, please post them below. Swapna will answer those and
Oh,
provide the
Shilpa.
link to her. Shilpa, sorry, I had Swapna on my mind because I
I
was
think,
talking with Swapna. My apologies. Thank
yeah,
you.
I think it's
Thanks for
time to
correcting
bring
me.
Swapna on and, on an
Yeah,
interview.
yeah, I
I
have
know
to
she
have
does
to
some great
exactly.
work. So, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, definitely. All right, Shilpa, namaste. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Oh,
Appreciate your
namaste.
time and your
Thank you.
energy. You're
Absolutely.
welcome.
See
Bye,
ya.
everybody. See you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.